All right, let's talk about your dinner plate and a hidden story of microscopic drama that spans the globe. We're going to investigate a tiny parasite that has a surprisingly big and, honestly, a pretty fascinating story. Let's get right into it.
So, I want to start by asking you a really simple question. Have you ever had sushi or ceviche or really any dish that uses raw freshwater fish? It's a culinary tradition that millions and millions of people love. Well, if your answer is yes, then you've potentially opened a door to a whole hidden world. Now, don't get me wrong, it's usually perfectly safe, but eating raw freshwater fish can expose you to tiny organisms, these little foodborne flukes. And today, we're focusing on one of them in particular, Metagonimus. So, to really get what's going on, we need to build a profile of our main character here. What exactly is Metagonimus? Okay, first things first, it's an endoparasite, and that endo prefix tells you everything you need to know. It lives inside its host. We're not talking about a tick or something on the outside. This parasite makes its home deep inside the small intestine of mammals and birds. And yep, that can include us. And don't picture some simple, single-celled amoeba here. Metagonimus isn't a protozoan, it's a metazoan. That's just a fancy way of saying it's a complex, multi-celled animal. It's got specialized systems for digestion, for movement, and this is the crucial part for its survival, for reproduction. The whole shebang. And here's where it fits on the family tree of life. It's an animal, of course. Specifically, it's a type of flatworm. And if we zoom in a little closer, it's in the class Trematoda, which are known as the flukes. So the main thing to remember is that Metagonimus is a tiny parasitic flatworm, what we call an intestinal fluke. I love this part. Even its name tells a story. Metagonimus comes from two Greek words, meta, which means behind, and gonimos, which means fertile. And it got that name because of the weirdly specific position of its reproductive organs. They're literally located behind its ventral sucker. It's a tiny little detail, but it's what sets it apart. Now, this fluke's entire existence depends on this incredible and kind of complicated journey. So let's trace its life cycle, and you'll see exactly how it all connects back to that plate of raw fish. So check this out. It's basically a four-step strategy for survival. Step 1. Eggs from an infected host, like a person or a dog, get passed into freshwater. Step 2. A specific kind of freshwater snail has to eat those eggs. Inside that snail, the parasite just multiplies like crazy. Step 3. Tiny free-swimming larvae then burst out of the snail and hunt for a freshwater fish. They burrow in, form a little cyst, and just wait. And finally, step 4. A mammal or a bird eats that fish raw. The parasite is released, it grows up in the intestine, and starts laying eggs all over again. It's kind of a brilliant, if sinister, plan. Now, because of this really complex life cycle, the parasite can only live in places where all three hosts are present. This creates a really unique map of where you find it in the world. And it's right here that we find a super fascinating scientific plot twist. As you can see, it's pretty widespread. You've got these major hotspots in East and South Asia. You can find it in the Middle East. But for our story, the really key area is its presence right here, across Europe, especially in places like the Balkans and Spain. For the longest time, parasitologists all basically worked under one big assumption. They thought the fluke they were finding in European fish was the exact same species as the one that causes so many infections in Asia, Metagonimus yokogawai. I mean, it made sense, but it created this big puzzle. If it's the same bug, why were human infections so much rarer in Europe? Well, it turns out that long-held belief was just plain wrong. Thanks to some very new research, I'm talking in the last year or so, using modern genetic tools, scientists figured out it was all a big case of mistaken identity. And this is the absolute key difference. The Asian species, Metagonimus yokogaiwai, digs itself into the muscles and flesh of the fish, the part people actually eat. But the European species, which we now know is Metagonimus romanicus, almost exclusively infects the scales. So when people prepare the fish, they scrape the scales off and the parasite gets thrown out with them. It's such a tiny biological detail, but it has these massive consequences. Mystery solved. So if the native European fluke isn't a big threat to humans, how does this disease even show up in a non-endemic country like the Netherlands? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Globalization. Cases get imported through people traveling from endemic areas, through the global food trade bringing in fresh fish, and of course, through the huge popularity of raw fish dishes. So, what actually happens if someone does get infected? Let's take a quick look at the clinical picture. The disease you get from it is called metagonimiasis. And for most people with a light infection, the symptoms can be super mild, or you might not even feel anything at all. But in heavy or long-term cases, it's mainly a gastrointestinal issue. We're talking diarrhea, abdominal pain. More severe complications can happen, but thankfully they're much less common. So how is it diagnosed? Well, it's classic detective work. A lab technician has to find the parasite's eggs in a stool sample under a microscope. The challenge, though, is that these eggs are unbelievably tiny, just 26 to 30 micrometers, and they look almost identical to the eggs of other related flukes. So making a positive ID is a real test of skill. Finally, let's get to the solutions. How is this treated? How can we prevent it? And what do all these new discoveries really mean? The good news is there are effective treatments out there. And even in a place like the Netherlands, where the disease isn't endemic, public health authorities have already set up guidelines for doctors on exactly how to diagnose and treat these imported intestinal flukes, making sure patients get the care they need. Of course, prevention is always better than a cure. And the single most important thing you can take away from all this is simple. To avoid Metagonimus and other flukes like it, just cook your freshwater fish thoroughly. The heat kills the parasite and makes the fish totally safe to eat. It's really that easy. And that kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? This whole story of Metagonimus, a case of mistaken identity solved by new science, a disease that spreads through globalization, it really makes you wonder, in our incredibly interconnected world, what other hidden pathogens are on the move, crossing borders, just waiting to be discovered? All the information in this explainer was compiled using a Gemini deep search. If you want to dig deeper into the science and see the original studies, you can find a complete list of all our sources in the Notebook LM document that's linked right in the description. So if you found this journey into the world of parasites interesting, go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more explainers just like this one. We'd really love to hear your thoughts, so please leave your feedback for us in the comments. Thanks for watching!